Welcome back to Monster Mayhem, and today's video may not even be about a monster at all. So I was talking to my wife about the list of monsters that I want to work on, and she had suggested that I do something pretty, and suggested the unicorn. Now, I thought to myself, well, that sounds like a fun challenge, but are they monsters? They're certainly creatures. I don't know, maybe you be the judge. In the meantime, let's talk about unicorns. So right off the bat, we're just going to have to start talking about horse structure because unicorns are just a horse, of course. So we're going to start with the torso of a horse, and you can break down the torso of a horse into three really basic shapes. So your front is going to be a triangle, the midsection is going to be a sphere and a circle, and then your back hips are going to be a nice box. Now you put all of them together in sort of your three dimension, and that is going to give you a nice little idea of the structure underneath the horse. Now the cool thing is that you can rotate those things similarly to how a human can rotate the hips and the pelvis. If you've seen my torso videos, you'd see how I talk about twisting. The same thing happens here with a horse, is that whenever you want to twist that triangular front, you can also juxtapose and twist the back hips in a different way. Obviously, just make sure that that spine is intact and that you're not unrealistically twisting the horse, but in general, those are going to be your really simple guidelines to understanding how to rotate the torso of the horse. Moving on to the head. Now the head is really just a flat shape. It's a complex kite. The front of it is going to be a trapezoid that goes away from that kite. Now whenever you want to find that, the peak at the top of the kite is where the top of the eyes are going to be. And so you can set the eyes a little bit lower than that, and then the ears go right at the top of that kite in general. But the nice thing is when you have that as sort of your landmark idea, you can start to fill everything out and box everything together. And the really fun part is with those rules in mind, you can play with proportion. You can start to alter the shape of the horse head that you want. Now this becomes really fun, especially in the idea of the unicorn, because this is when you get to really lean heavy into the character design and the fantasy aspect, because this doesn't have to be an actual horse. This is a unicorn. Therefore, you have some rules that you now get to bend and play with to make your head shapes a lot more unique and varied, so you can really make them your own. All right, now for the thing that makes the unicorn, the horn. So placing the horn is really important, and style is also really important because that's where your characterization comes from. So I'm going to start here though with the very basic traditional style unicorn horn, which is more of a cone style that is wrapped around and has like a spiral pattern. Think of like a piece of rope, very similar. Now the other thing is, like, whenever you have this idea of this twisting and weaving, you can actually start to weave it together into separate pieces, and you can make it into one horn with multiple parts, whether it's like a 2-part or a 3-part. Really, it's up to you. And honestly, that's where the really fun comes in, because you get to play with the idea of what does this horn need to be and what's the function of it, and you get to design. Now, moving from that, the placement is obviously really important too, because sometimes you don't really know, you don't want it to be too low, you don't want it to be high, but really all that matters is that you keep everything in perspective. Now, I like it the very traditional idea of keeping the horn going out 90 degrees from the plane of the top of the head of my horse. And whenever I'm looking at it foreshortened, think of it like what an ice cream cone looks like. You have these rings that are all concentric and overlapping, and so it's going to look like just a circle with multiple circles inside of it when it's foreshortened. But generally speaking, I like to try and keep like a 3/4 angle or something that shows off the shape of the horn a little bit more. Now the fun thing is multi-corns. So I had this idea, like, a unicorn is the one horn, but what happens if you want to add more horns? Like, what's stopping you from making a tricorn, or getting real crazy and making a septicorn, or getting even super weirder and making a bladed unicorn and making a blade-a-corn? I mean, really the options are all over the place, and this is fantasy, and since this is Monster Mayhem after all, this is where you can start making this unicorn really into quite a bit of a monster. But really, that's up to you. And the fun thing is that you can take something that is kind of silly and cute, and though I'm not the best at cute, I can put my little spin to it, and that's the great thing about drawing and creating. So thanks for watching, everybody. Go check out my school and go jump in there to join our community of other artists. And with that, go have fun, be creative, and go practice. Thanks, everyone.